We are in the midst of the reorientation of our lifetime. This is the moment we have deeply yearned for, and right now is how the going through process of profound boundary-breaking evolution feels. It's important to remember that in this pivotal moment of human evolution, real life is where the application of everything we have gleaned in awakened teachings, retreats, and community comes into play. These resources haven't been offered simply as feel-good theories, but as invitations into a whole different way of being in divine allowance and trust. It is very, very okay to feel all the emotions about everything that is changing and to feel empathy for those directly impacted. And it's also very, very okay to feel excitement about all of it whenever that capacity arises. It will help to remember that the government, religious, cultural, and societal systems we have all lived in were created in a different level of consciousness than is available to us now. These systems have held us in limitation, oppression, conflict, and imbalance. And the bottom line is that they must collapse because they're out of alignment with our true divine nature. And like with all of us, the collapse of the old happens from within. All around the world, the collapse of patriarchal systems of conquering, control, oppression, and conflict is being driven by patriarchal systems of conquering, control, oppression, and conflict. Our higher levels of individual and collective consciousness now means that we can no longer look to the old systems of our world to give us permission to be our true self or regulate our freedoms. We can't fit inside boxes anymore. We can't squeeze ourselves back into limitation. The chaos we are experiencing now is what the first hints of freedom feel like. We don't yet know ourselves outside of the systems that told us who and how we are allowed to be. And we don't yet know what, if anything, the new systems will be. So it's extremely helpful to orient ourselves into welcoming the great unknown. This is how we lean into divine allowance and trust, which is the key to our reorientation. We are used to trusting fear, and we are used to letting others tell us what's possible. And now we get to invite all the more we don't know yet that comes from stepping out of those limiting ways of life. Recently, in my community book group reading of Paul Selig's A World Made New, we talked about catastrophe and the importance of understanding the perspectives that bring about these big moments as a consequence of past collective actions and historical expectation. We also talked about our impulse to label these dramatic changes as catastrophic, but that's just the view we have been conditioned to see. I used the example of how the drama-driven news has taught us to think about things like significant weather events in life-threatening and potentially catastrophic terms, when from other vantage points we might see in the forecast a large-scale cleansing of old collective karmic patterns or a deeply helpful reset for nature. We can see our power to choose how we relate to change in other simple examples, like the caterpillar as it deconstructs to emerge as the butterfly, the seed as it breaks open to become the tree. These are great metaphors to help us remember that we too are in the pivotal transitional stage. We're being released from the too small structures that once tried to contain us, because it can no longer withstand the force of our true potential. Our opportunity now is to welcome all of that greater potential. We don't know what that is yet, so invite the joy of discovery and exploration of all that you are and that we can be into your day, into your every day. This will not only feel better, but will help quicken our evolution into ever more of that greater potential.